I'm gonna keep this plain and simple because somebody really needs to hear this tonight. It is okay to not be 100% healed a year later, 2 years later. And being said on that subject, ignoring, blocking, imagining that person does not exist is not healing. Just because you are not in the environment to be triggered again does not mean you are healed. What you are doing is avoiding a trigger. Now, I'm not saying that's 100% unhealthy. I'm not saying you need to call that ex right now and see if you feel anything. That is not what I'm saying. I repeat, do not text your ex. What I am saying is, avoiding is not the same thing as facing the demons. And this can come to you subtly. You're not even realizing that you're doing it. Some of you may, some of you may not. But just because you are not being triggered, let me just tell you a story time. I made this channel because I was hurt. I'm gonna put it plain and simple. Hurt. But now, I make this channel because I see the amount of people I help heal. But while I was in that period of hurt, block, I'm over y'all. That is what I thought the first step of healing is. I'm not a guru. I don't know all the answers to the world, so I don't know if I had to do what I had to do to get here. But I did. So while I was doing that, I journaled about it, talked about it with somebody. You probably did the same thing if you're still watching. I listened to myself speak. I asserted that my version of the truth was indeed the reality that I lived. You understand what I'm saying? So while I was in that period of block, I went through that phase and I said, I'm healed. Hey, I'm healed. I did that. Like, that was kind of easy. And in that period, a year goes by and I'm like, let me see who's in my block list. Let me scroll. Unblock. I still feel something. And so you really have to sit with yourself at this point and feel everything. I thought I was healed. And that slapped me in the face. That same sentence slapped me in the face. And if you've ever seen an old best friend 3 years later that you had a strong bond with, and you get slapped in the face with emotions. If y'all watch Euphoria, when Maddie, like years later, she went to Jacob's, she went to that guy's wedding, and she had to walk out, that is exactly what I'm talking about. You think you're healed, so you have to face that person. And I'm not saying you're just as broken as when you face that person from the beginning. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying there is a second phase. Oh, we're still going? We're still doing this? There is a second phase of if this person sat next to me on the subway, how would I feel? Would I sit there snickering, thinking that I am a better human being because I have deconstructed this person in a way that they have 100% been villainized and disguising or destructing or just deleting and suppressing that version of myself where I did have that person in my life and we did laugh, we did like each other, we did have inside jokes, and I'm just burying that person because you hurt me at the end, or you hurt me in the middle, or you hurt me at the beginning, so you are now the villain. In whose story? Because at the end of the day, that person looks at you and says, their own version. You are now the villain, and you're pointing at them. You are now the villain. Who is the deemer of reality here? So whenever you walk up to that person or you sit next to that person, how do you feel? Do you feel like bubbling your wrath still in them? But I thought you healed. I thought you don't care. Nonchalantly. Do you feel like, oh, this is just another person? And forget the memories that you had with them at one point? Or do you see them as a gray person? What is a gray person? It's a person that is not black or white. They are simply human. Complex, projecting, hurt, lovable, funny, and so on and so forth. They are simply human. Can you hate somebody for being human? No, because that would mean hating yourself for being human. So what do? You move on. And that's what I'm gonna leave this video with. If you were sat with that person, y'all know that, yup, you're imagining somebody. That is why you clicked this video. If you sat on that next to that person on the subway, how would you feel? That person you haven't spoken to in years, but you claimed you are healed. I understand. Forgiveness does not require access. But in a small world that we live in, and y'all somehow ended up in the same room together, how would you feel? God bless y'all.